cool. So I'm here with Angelo Senat. He is a pilot, business owner with the company Royal Jets here in New York, Wall Street. So get ready for this week's ShineHard interview. Angelo, how are you, brother?
Absolutely, I'm feeling great.
Good, man. Happy to have you here, man.
I'm saying I'm happy to be here as well.
Cool. So you have the company Royal Jets, and I want to know a little bit more about your involvement in that. But first, it's always interesting to me when I talk to talented and successful people to really understand where their journey began. So tell me a little bit about your childhood and what life was like growing up for you.
Absolutely. A little bit of my childhood. Grew up in Haiti, born in Haiti. I lived through all the wars, all the coup d'etat. So I've seen, United Nations come in and try to help the country out. And that's when I kind of fell in love with flying. I remember the helicopters used to fly probably like 5 to 8 feet over our houses. Yeah. And I used to sit on the roof just watching all these helicopters, and I was like, yeah, I want to do this. Yeah. So that started there. Then it came to the United States, I think in '95. Came to the United States, went to schools to learn how to speak English. Lost my Haitian accent. That was positive because I love my country, but I hate that thing. As a kid, you just always. I think every kid at one point try to be a superhero, right? Either try to be Superman or Batman.
Yeah.
Everybody's just fascinated with just flight, or just what it's like to be up there.
Yeah.
I just wanted to take it to the next level. So one day, I think I was about 22, 23, and I just walked into the airport and I just went to a flight school and I just told them to teach me how to fly.
Nice.
And
Long Island?
Long Island, yeah.
Okay.
Of course, young black guys, so everybody's looking at me like I'm crazy.
This guy.
Yeah, like. So I didn't know what the steps were, and again, my parents, they're immigrants, so they didn't necessarily know how to point me to the right direction, like most immigrant parents. So sometimes it's up to, just the kids to just figure it out for themselves.
Right.
So it just hit me one day. I just drove to the airport, my girlfriend at the time, and we just went straight there, and I just went for my intro flight.
To do it.
Yeah, it was an hour long. It was probably one of the happiest and scariest hours of my life.
Nice.
Yeah.
So the first day you go in, you get behind the plane first day, or?
Yeah, it's not like learning how to drive where you have to read the book. No, you're on that wheel, you're on that yoke for that first day.
Wow.
You're taking off, you're landing, you're over the water. It was scary, man.
They put you straight in the plane.
They put you straight in the plane. Yeah, by the time I landed, though, I was like, oh my God, I want to do it again. Yeah, I was hooked from there on. It was like. Like somebody, it was like a crazy drug after that.
Yeah.
It's a three-dimensional world.
Yeah.
Normally when you're driving, you're just looking side or front, back.
Yeah.
When you're flying, you have to look up, down, everything.
Yeah.
So it's you just see the world from a whole different type of angle. Yeah, it's really amazing.
So, what is your passion, and what is it that you desire out of life?
I think it's to help others, really. That's what makes you a successful businessman. That's what I've come to find out. In my early days, it used to be about generating money and making money. And, it wasn't long until I found out money comes and goes. So when you're a blessing to others, and that's when you see the real blessings come to you. Yeah, so that's my goal is to, if I can make you successful, it's just, karma never loses an address, so it comes right back.
So, tell me a little bit more about what you do as a businessman. How did Royal Jets come about, and what else do you do in your business world?
So how Royal Jets came about? Okay, so it's a funny story. So a buddy of mine, I was probably like 2-3 years into flight school at that time. I learned how to fly, and it was all over Facebook. So my friends were like, it was crazy because I went from not being known to be around airplanes to being the airplane guy.
Okay.
So one of my friends was doing a show with Rick Ross, Meek Mill, and Atlantic City. Over their weekend. I forget what year. I think it was 2012, maybe 2011.
Okay.
And he gave me a call because they missed their flight. And he's like, "Look, man, I always see the pictures on Facebook.
Right.
I just missed my flight. I need to be at the show. I guess he had to cover his pay the bills, artists, whatever. He had to get there, just handle his business or whatever, right?" So I'm like, "Look, man, give me a few minutes. I'm gonna figure it out." So I called one of my flight instructors. He had an airplane. So and it was like an 8-passenger airplane.
Okay.
So I called him. I said, "Hey, I need a favor. I got a buddy of mine. He's missed his flight. He needs to get to the show. What can you do for me?"
Yeah.
So of course, me, being one of his, good students or whatever at the time. So he said, "Look, man, just give me a couple grand. I'll pick you guys up. I'll wait for you, and I'll bring you back." And that was the start to everything. That's when the light bulb went in my head, like, oh my goodness, I could really do this. Yeah, and it was just by a simple mistake.
So did you fly the plane to get them there?
I didn't fly the plane, but throughout the whole time, I was watching the pilots fly the plane. So, what was going through my head at the time was, okay, I can fly the plane, and I have a network in the entertainment industry. So if I could put the two together, there's got to be a connection there.
Some value there you can add.
Right.
Yeah.
So, by the time we got back from the show, Memorial Day weekend, I went straight to my girlfriend. I was like, "Look, we're gonna start an airline."
Yeah.
And she looked at me like,
What?
no. See, here's the thing. That's what I was expecting, right? And they're like, what is wrong with you? And she looked at me and said, "Let's do it." So I looked at her like, "What? You're crazy."
She flipped it up.
Right? I'm like, "You're supposed to talk me out of this. What are you doing?" Right? She said, "Let's do it. What do you want to call it?" Man, I was in shock. I was like, "You're nuts." She was like, "Well, you brought it up." So and from then on, we just took off, man.
So where did the name Royal Jets come from?
Oh, so the name came from just the type of service that we wanted to provide to our clients, and we wanted everybody to feel like royalty. Everybody just feel just that special, over the board type of service.
Right.
And we came up with the name Royal Jets, not thinking or not knowing there was a Royal Jet group owned by the royal family in Abu Dhabi.
Wow.
So that started a whole different.
Right.
That's when our first I guess challenges as a businessman or business couple came in.
Yeah.
It was we had to to win the rights to the name wasn't
Right.
different. To be honest with you,
Yeah.
I welcomed it. I love a challenge. First thing we did, and to go back to your question, what to do as a businessman, was position ourselves and position the company in the market. So buying RoyalJets.com, from the little things to owning having the rights to the name, social media, Twitter, Facebook, so did everything Royal Jets across the board. So even though the competitor had the Royal Jet group, we made sure we position ourselves as the primary company.
Right.
So that's the first thing we did.
That's smart.
Then it's like I tell everybody, if you have an idea, you're gonna exercise your idea. Make sure you own your idea and you own your name. So we had to own the rights to the name. So that was I think a 2-year battle, and finally we won.
So you guys went to court with this? Or
No, I mean
this negotiation?
it was in negotiations, and we had to deal with United States Patent and Trademark Office,
Right.
and we pretty much had to negotiate why we're different from that company. Then after a bunch of back and forths, I guess the judge decided that we had every right to the name. Since that certificate, I was probably the happiest day of my life.
Official.
Oh yeah, that was the stamp. That stamp said, that was the I made it moment for me.
Yeah.
We focus on the little things that matter, the little things that count. I read this book called Midas Touch, by Donald Trump and Robert Kiyosaki, and and I know Donald Trump's in hot water right now, but he's really he just talked too much. But he's like every, I guess old uncle or old grandfather you have that just says ridiculous things. That's how I see
Thinks he
him.
knows everything.
But
He does know a lot.
He does know a lot. There's people that need to forget. If you focus on the positive things about that man, and that's what I learned, to focus on about the little things that count, focus on the little details. And he talked about opening his first, Trump Towers right here across from Tiffany's.
Yeah.
How he focused on the marbles, how he brought the airspace over the building so no one can build over him. So so they never killed his view, so his property value stayed up there. Just these little details that made it. So I took that in, and I focused on the little things that count. From service to the way we speak to prospects, clients, everybody. That's what makes us different. We focus on just details. Yeah.
So how much did it cost to start your business?
Believe it or not, it took me about $1,000 to start my business. Yeah, $20,000.
Wow, so you have access to the plane, so that was a way to cut costs?
Exactly.
Nice.
I didn't need to buy an airplane at first start, so all I need to do is buy the name, license the business, start a website. Social media is free, so it costs me nothing. So I focus all on my marketing on social media.
Yeah.
So yeah, it took me $1,000.
You mentioned you have a pretty good network in the entertainment business. How did that come about? How were you able to get those relationships?
Just working as a promoter in college.
Ah,
So in college, I was working as a promoter. This nightclub called Avalon. It's the old Limelight, located on 6th and 20th Street. Pretty huge building. It's probably about 10 to 15,000 square feet.
right.
So all the record labels used to do a lot of shows in there with new artists,
Oh,
like 50 Cent, Britney Spears, and anybody that was new that's coming out. The labels used to put them in there. So I was working with one of the promoters there, one of the head promoters there on one of the nights. So I was able to network with a lot of the executives, a lot of the artists, a lot of the managers,
right.
and I just kept in contact with everybody when I got out the business.
Right.
So
So you knew the power of networking. You might not have known what those relationships were going to be for, but you just knew that they were vital.
absolutely, absolutely, the power of networking is everything. You know, you are who you hang out with. So.
I guess it's very important that we all have that person that we look to for advice or guidance.
Mhm.
Do you have any mentors, and who do you look to for guidance in this industry?
So in this industry, depending on the department, we have different people that we go to. So one of our first few supporters in the industry was Mika Claxton.
Mika Claxton.
Mika Claxton. She's a very open person, very happy, and
Right.
exchange emails. And we emailed the next day just for a follow up. She replied right back. She came into our office in Long Island. She visited our headquarters and the hangars and the airplanes.
Yeah.
And she was just like, I love what you guys are doing. I like what you guys stand for. I like your brand. I think I can help you. And right then and there, I think the next day, she probably gave us like 4 or 5 clients. Yeah. I just snap her fingers.
Just from the network. She saw her network, put them on.
She came to the office and put it on Twitter.
Oh, that was big.
And probably later on that day, we got a call from some of the guys from the Toronto, from the Raptors,
Right.
and that needed to fly out. And it was like, from a financial standpoint, we have our CFO, his name is John Dutton.
Okay.
He took one of the first hospitals public on Wall Street,
Okay.
raised over 200 million in his career.
Right.
So from that angle, we'll go to John. We'll call him Uncle John. Yeah, he talks to us more like an uncle. Yeah.
Donald Trump voice in the
Yeah. Uncle John, and he'll tell us, hey, Angelo, don't spend $1 million on this because 5 years later you'll be broke and you'll do this.
Right.
So Uncle John, yeah, he's our, I guess, financial advisor and chief of financial. And then we have a whole bunch of different people that we go to,
Yeah.
because I don't think you can ever go to one person that just knows it all, right? So we go to people who are good at what they do.
Right.
I'll never ask a painter to fix my car.
Right.
Yeah. I learned that the hard way with my dad.
Target, well, you have a lot of NBA entertainment clientele.
Mhm.
Is that your target demographic, or is there other clientele that you're willing to bring on to?
Oh, I mean, it's NBA entertainment, sports entertainment and corporate. But what we did as a young company, is you got to put numbers on the board. So in order for us to put numbers on the board, we went to our direct network. So entertainment was my network, so I went straight to them to put numbers on the board.
Yeah.
And I know with entertainment comes sports, so we went to sports to put numbers on the board. So now that we're putting numbers on the board, so now we can go to corporate. Because when you enter in corporate, and nobody heard of you, and nobody knows who you are, and you don't have any numbers on the board, it's going to be tough.
No leverage.
No leverage, right? So first thing we did again is about positioning yourself. So I wanted to be able to go to corporate and say, yeah, I'm doing 50 million in sales, I'm doing 60 million in sales. So that would look at you like, who is this? I was 26 at the time. Who is this 26-year-old, talking to us like this?
Yeah.
And I said, all right, I'm the owner of the company. All right, then they looked at me. Yeah, exactly. And they look at you and they're like, then they'll say, okay, we'll be in touch. Then I figure they're gonna look me up, go on my LinkedIn, and
Yeah.
and they'll go on the social media and
Yeah.
everything. Or they'll call.